Within Act 4, Scene 3 of William Shakespeare's Macbeth, Malcolm, the rightful heir to the throne of Scotland, is asked to come back by Macduff. Malcolm at first is weary of coming back due to his distrust in Macduff. Macduff is then put through a series of lying and manipulations, and at the end his true intentions shine through. However, another problem arises. Macduff is then informed that his family has been slaughtered by Macbeth, which leads to even more problems. And we'll see what happens from there on.
In preparation for our play, I researched the methods of coping with stress. This included the attributes and habits of people who successfully deal with stress. And we applied this to Macduff's character by ensuring he does the exact opposite to show that he does not have the ability at the moment to endure the stress that just entered his life.
In my praise, I researched the differences between pity, empathy, sympathy, and compassion to get a better understanding of how Malcolm, during Macduff's time of need, acts around him.
So, as Malcolm is speaking these words, we should have Macduff kind of spaced out, moving around. He's like, what?
Lodge Tracy, when we were working together on it, okay? Lodge Tracy has said, be comforted, let us medicines of our great revenge. So right now he's like, instead of helping, he's like, okay, so now you can turn this into... Actually, Malcolm's trying to comfort him.
From my research, what I found from my empathy, sympathy, and mostly all those things, there are four main types of feelings that people get mixed up a lot. It's pity, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. But what they all differ in is like level of engagement. And what makes Malcolm, what I've learned from Malcolm's word choices and like how he's portrayed in this, he's really just showing pity because he doesn't feel the pain that Macduff's going through because he doesn't know what it's like to lose children.
So what is he showing right now? What should I be showing?
He's pretty much just showing pity. He's just acknowledging that he's suffering, but he doesn't have
know how to feel.
He doesn't have the best connection to him. That makes it to us. So what I'm trying to say is show some emotion to Macduff, but make sure
backwards and stern.
Yeah, make sure it's like you don't know how it feels. Like,
be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge. Within my praise, I chose to research about the 5 stages of grief. The 5 stages of grief include denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. This all plays into the scene where Macduff is then informed that his family has been murdered. It sets him off in the very first stage of denial. He denies that his family's dead. What's going to happen now that he's not there? And then he goes into a little bit of anger where he's like, now Macbeth has no children, so why does he get to not suffer like I do? And he goes straight to acceptance where Malcolm is like, all right, so instead of taking your anger out on all of this and being sad, turn that into power and rage and let's take over Macbeth. So as we're reading through this, okay, first, Macbeth only goes into 2 stages. It goes from denial to straight to acceptance. He has no anger, he has nothing because Malcolm is going to comfort him, and like that's where you guys like did your research and where now he can like, try to act like he's comforting, but it's not as well as everyone else.
Wait, he just skips like the 3 middle steps?
Yeah, because he goes from that, he's like, why did this happen to my family? What did I do to deserve this? And then Malcolm's like, all right, like your family's dead, but like now if you want to take back your legacy, and then Macduff now is like, all right, let's do it.
Within my rhetorical précis, I was researched manipulation and the type of people who use manipulation. In our scene, Macduff clearly is manipulated by Malcolm, but Macduff is he's saying all these lies and he's doing deception and manipulation, but it's for his country, and I feel like he should have some he's trying to lie to him, except it's very hard when he's straight face to face with him, so he should use more body motions to
body motions are going to be a really big part of this. Mostly on Malcolm's part, especially because Malcolm is not very experienced in lying, so he's not going to be very subtle when he's not going to be very subtle during all of the,
My research article was entitled 11 Signs of Lying, and through that I learned that liars have a tendency to cover the back of their neck, the front of their neck, or their mouths, or any other vulnerable spots when they're lying. They also have a tendency to fidget with their hands, have broken up sentences, stutter, and maintain eye contact for longer than needed. So I took this information and I applied it to Malcolm, who is being played by Raymond. And you can clearly see in this scene that Raymond has trouble delivering his lines, which is intentional, by the way. He also fidgets with his hands a lot. He rubs his back of his neck. He kind of embraces himself, and that's our way of showing the audience that Malcolm is in fact lying. So you might be wondering, what's with the weird costumes, right? So there's a little twist to our Macbeth scene. We decided to incorporate Avatar: The Last Airbender, a show we loved as kids, to our current Macbeth project. We sat down and we saw the parallels between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Macbeth. We saw that there were 4 nations, and in Macbeth there's Scotland and England. So in our version of Macbeth, we have Malcolm, who has run away from the Fire Nation to escape Macbeth, who is a tyrant who's trying to take over the Fire Nation. So what we had Macduff, also part of the Fire Nation, come to the Earth Nation to retrieve Malcolm. And also within this scene, we have Ross, who is played by Clarence, and he's also from the Fire Nation. And we'll get to see what happens with the scene. Let's go!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there we weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall and burthen. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of Dowler.
What I believe, I will. What no, believe, and what I can redress. As I shall find time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongue, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him, though. Me and wisdom to offer a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god?
I am not treacherous!
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon, that which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Though all things foul would wear the brows full of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance, even there where I did find my doubts, why in that rawness left you wife and child without leave taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just whatever I shall think.
Bleed for a nation. Great tyranny, thou with thy basest sure, for goodness dare not check thee, wear thou thy wrongs. The title's Afford. Fare thee well, Lord.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country seeks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each day a new gash. When I shall thread upon the tyrant's head or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever. By him that shall succeed.
And what should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice, so grafted that when they shall be open, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Non-religions of the horrid hell can come a devil more damned than the evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. and my desire. All continent impediments would overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to rule.
Boundless intemperance in nature's a tyranny. It hath been the ultimately emptying of the happy throne and the fall of many kings, but fear not yet to take upon what is yours. Convey the pleasures in a spacious plenty. It may seem cold, the time you may hoodwink the willingness dames, though. There cannot be the vulture in you to devour so many, and as rule to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchious avarice that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, and the other's house. And my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This adverse sticks deeper, grows with more promiscuous root, the summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath voices to fill up your will. Of your more mere own, all these are portable with our other graces weighed.
But I have none, the king becoming graces. As justice verified, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Fire Nation, Fire Nation!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern! No, not to live, O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptered with thou shalt see thy wholesome day again. Sure is the true issue of thy throne, and does the buster in his breed, thy royal father, was the most sainted king, a queen that bore thee oftener when their knees offered feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well, the evils thou repeats upon thyself, the banished from the Fire Nation, oh my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak my own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to commend. Whither indeed, before they here approach, old seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point, was setting forth. Now will together and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
Well, more anon. Come forth, the king, I pray you.
Aye, sir, there are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure, their malady convinces. The great essay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand. They presently abend.
I thank you, doctor.
What's the disease he means?
Tis called the evil, a most miraculous work in the good king, which often, since my here remain in England, I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven, himself best knows what strangely visit people. All swollen as ulcers, pitiful to the eye. The more despair of surgery he hears, the hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken. To the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction with this strange virtue. He hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
See, who comes here?
My countrymen, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin. Come hither.
I know him now. Good God, be times removed. That makes us strangers.
Amen.
Stands the fair nation where it did?
Alas, poor country. Almost afraid know itself it cannot. We call it another, but